Under the flashing lights of Atlanta, a scandal has erupted that could shatter friendships, relationships, and reputations across the entire love and hip-hop universe. Lil Scrappy, the charismatic rapper with a history of messy breakups, is at the center of a storm no one saw coming. And the woman tangled in this explosive mess, none other than Kendra, the fiancé of his own close friend, young JOC. It started as whispers, a suspicious smile here, a too-long hug there, and late night sightings that the cast swore were just coincidence. But last night, on set, the whispers turned into an on-camera explosion that left the crew frozen. The producers scrambling and Jock's rage boiling over for the whole world to see. Now, secret text messages have leaked. A grainy behind-the-scenes clip is going viral. And Atlanta's biggest reality stars are choosing sides in a feud that's about to get a whole lot nastier. Was this a real betrayal or a setup for ratings? One thing's for sure, the next chapter is going to burn everything to the ground. It was supposed to be just another smooth filming day for Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. The set was buzzing with the usual controlled chaos, cameras adjusting, angles, stylists starting in with last-minute touch-ups, producers whispering into headsets. The crew was filming a high-energy lounge scene meant to capture the cast celebrating the end of a long, messy storyline. Lil Scrappy had arrived late, sliding into the venue wearing a crisp designer hoodie, gold chains glinting under the lights. He looked calm to calm, some might say, as he scrolled through his phone and barely acknowledged the chatter around him. A few tables away, Kendra was in the middle of a touch-up with her makeup artist, her laughter carrying over the music. People on set had already noticed the strange shift between Scrappy and Kendra over the last few weeks. What started as playful banter had evolved into subtle touches, inside jokes and long conversations that had nothing to do with filming. No one dared to say anything outright. Until last week, when a paparazzi shot surfaced showing the two having dinner at a dimly lit restaurant in Buckhead. The photo was blurry, but the body language was unmistakable. Kendra leaning in, hand grazing Scrappy's arm, her smile far more intimate than friendly. When the picture hit the blogs, the headline screamed, "Kendra and Scrappy caught getting cozy as young Jock in the dark." Producers had been quietly holding their breath ever since. Jock hadn't reacted publicly. He'd kept it professional on set, even managing to smile through scenes with Kendra. But the truth was, the tension was building like a ticking time bomb. That bomb was about to go off. The lounge scene was in full swing. Glasses clinked, the music thumped, and the cameras rolled. Kendra entered the main floor and, without hesitation, made her way straight to Scrappy's corner table. She leaned down, whispered something in his ear, and let out a laugh, her hand resting on his knee for just a second too long. It was subtle, but it didn't escape young Jock's eyes. Sitting just across the room, he froze mid-conversation, his gaze locking onto the pair. His smile vanished. His jaw tightened. A nearby cameraman caught the shift in Jock's expression, zooming in instinctively. Producers in the control booth exchanged nervous glances. They could feel it. Something was about to happen. Jock stood up slowly, the screech of his chair cutting through the background music. He walked toward the table, the crowd parting as if they sensed trouble. "Yo," Jock said, his voice low, but dangerous. "Tell me you didn't just do that." Scrappy looked up, feigning confusion. "Man, you trippin'. Ain't nothing going on. Don't play with me," Jock shot back, his tone sharp enough to slice the air. Kendra opened, her mouth to speak, but Jock cut her off with a raised hand. "Nah, you don't get to talk right now." The crew went silent. Even the background extras, who were supposed to keep pretending to party, stopped moving. Somewhere behind the bar, a producer whispered, "Keep rolling. This is gold." Then, Jock did something no one expected. He reached for Scrappy's phone, snatching it off the table before Scrappy could react. "Let's see what you've been texting her," Jock said, loud enough for everyone in the room to hear. Scrappy lunged forward, snatching the phone back, but not before Jock caught a glimpse of the screen. His eyes narrowed. Kendra. Last night was crazy. The words burned into his brain like fire. A collective gasp rippled through the set. Oh. Kendra's face drained of color. Scrappy muttered something under his breath, but Jock wasn't listening anymore. Within minutes, a shaky 7-second cell phone video from a background extra hit Twitter. It showed the exact moment Jock snatched the phone and shouted the line about last night was crazy. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag Kendra and Scrappy. Hashtag JOC loses it. Hashtag LHH affair. Memes flooded timelines. Then things got even messier. An anonymous Instagram account LHHNCiderT posted what they claimed were screenshots of DMs between Scrappy and Kendra. One message, allegedly from Scrappy, read, "Can't stop thinking about you." Last night was everything. Another showed Kendra replying, "You. No, we can't get caught. Jock can never find out." Whether real or fake, the internet didn't care. Within an hour, the screenshots had been shared over 50,000 times. Fans flooded Jock's comment section with messages like, "You deserve better," and exposed them. Both. Back on set, Jock was pacing like a caged animal. "You think I'm stupid?" he barked at Scrappy. "You think I don't see what's been going on?" Scrappy leaned back, smirking. "Man, you letting the blogs mess with your head?" Smirk was gasoline on a fire. Jock lunged forward, and for a split second, it looked like fists were about to fly. Security stepped in, shoving the two apart. Kendra stood frozen, eyes darting between them. Her lips trembling like she wanted to say something, but couldn't. Producers huddled in the corner, torn between stopping the chaos and letting it play out for the cameras. The tension was electric. Every single person in that room knew they were witnessing the kind of moment that would dominate reality. TV headlines for months. And then Jock said something that changed the tone entirely. "You think I only saw your texts? Wait until you hear what your driver told me." The set went dead silent. Scrappy's smirk faltered. Kendra's eyes widened. Whatever Jock knew, it was about to make things a whole lot worse. The room was holding its breath. Jock's voice had gone low, calm, the kind of calm that meant danger. Scrappy stared him down, trying to keep his composure, but everyone could see it. That tiny twitch in his jaw, the subtle shift in his seat. Something had rattled him. "What the hell are you talking about?" Scrappy asked, his tone suddenly. Defensive.joc stepped closer, ignoring the producers frantically waving for the cameras to cut. "Your driver," he said slowly. "The one who picked you up after the club last week?" "Yeah. He told me exactly who was in that back seat with. You. And it wasn't just some random friend." A murmur spread through the set. Kendra's fingers clenched the stem of her champagne glass, knuckles white. "I don't know what you think you heard," Scrappy shot back, "but people love to run their mouths." Jock didn't flinch. "He said he dropped you off at Kendra's place at 3 a.m. and you stayed there all night." Gasps. Actual audible gasps. Someone in the crew whispered, "Oh, this is bad." Kendra finally spoke, her voice trembling but sharp. "That's not true, Jock. You're acting crazy." Jock turned on her. "Crazy. Crazy. I've been walking around for weeks watching you two giggle and whisper like high school kids, thinking maybe I'm just paranoid. But now I got people coming to me with receipts. Do you think that's crazy, Kendra? Or is it just the truth you're scared of?" The cameras were still rolling. Producers knew they should intervene, but this was pure gold. And then, like fate wanted to add fuel to the fire, Jock's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, and a slow, dangerous smile spread across his face. "Guess what?" he said, locking eyes with Scrappy. "The blogs just got the security footage." Scrappy's eyes narrowed. "What footage?" Jock held up his phone, turning it so Scrappy and everyone else could see. On the screen, a grainy black and white video played. It showed the back alley of a popular Atlanta lounge. The timestamp matched the night in question. There was Scrappy sliding into the back seat of a black SUV. A few seconds later, Kendra appeared, glancing around nervously before climbing in beside him. The car door shut. The SUV pulled away. The clip was only 15 seconds, but it was enough. Enough to go viral, enough to break the internet, enough to destroy whatever thin layer of deniability they had left. Where the hell did you get that? Scrappy demanded, his voice rising. Doesn't matter, Jock said. What matters is the whole world's about to see it. And he wasn't exaggerating. Within minutes, the footage hit Instagram via the LHHATL account. The caption read, "We told y'all something was up. Here's the proof. Hashtag Kendra and Scrappy hashtag JOC loses it hashtag LHHATL. The comment section exploded. Oh my God, Kendra really did him dirty. Scrappy always been messy, but this. Jock better air them both out. On set, Kendra's voice broke. Isn't what it looks like. Jock laughed a cold, humorless laugh. Sweetheart, that's exactly what it looks like. And it's not just me saying it. You've got fans out there right now digging through every picture, every DM, every post you've ever made. Scrappy stepped forward, closing the space between them. You need to back the hell up before you say something you regret. I'm just getting started, Jock shot back. Do you want to play this game? Let's tell everyone about that weekend in Miami. Kendra's head snapped toward Jock. Don't. Jock, don't. Scrappy frowned. What weekend in Miami? Jock's grin widened. So he doesn't know. That's interesting. Maybe I should let you be the one to tell him. The tension was suffocating. Crew members shifted uncomfortably, unsure if this was about to turn into a full-on fight or a televised confession. Kendra opened her mouth, then shut it again. Her eyes darted between Jock and Scrappy, her breathing shallow. Finally, she muttered, "Not here." "Oh no," Jock said, his voice dripping with venom. "We're doing this right here. You don't get to hide anymore." And that's when a producer's walkie-talkie crackled with an urgent voice. Security. To stage A now, we've got fans outside chanting Jock's name. Everyone turned toward the doors, startled. Through the glass, a crowd was gathering, holding up their phones, live streaming, shouting. Some were screaming Team Jock. Others were yelling, "Where's Kendra?" The chaos outside was spilling in. The show wasn't just on set anymore. The streets of Atlanta were watching, and they wanted blood. Jock took a step toward the door, pointing at Scrappy as he backed away. "Don't think this is over. Got more. And when I'm done, you'll wish this was just about a text." Message? Scrappy didn't move. He just watched Jock walk out, the crowd's roar growing louder as he stepped into the chaos. Inside, Kendra's phone buzzed in her hand. She glanced down at the screen and her face went white. It was a new message from an unknown number. "If you don't come clean, we will." Kendra's hands shook as she read the message over and over. "If you don't come clean, we will." It wasn't just the words that terrified her. It was the fact that whoever sent it knew exactly when to strike. With Jock storming out into a mob of chanting fans and Scrappy glaring at her like a detective about to interrogate a suspect, Kendra was cornered. Scrappy leaned forward, his voice low and sharp. "What the hell was that?" "Who's we?" Kendra slid her phone into her back, forcing a calm she didn't feel. "It's nothing. It's just trolls." Trolls don't know about Miami. Jock's voice rang out from the hallway. He had clearly overheard as he made his way back in, this time flanked by two producers who were desperately trying to manage the scene. Scrappy's eyes narrowed. "Miami? What's in Miami?" Jock crossed his arms, his smirk returning like he'd been waiting for this moment all day. "Tell him, Kendra. Or should I?" She hesitated, and in that pause, Jock pounced. "Fine, I'll do it. Miami, 2 months ago. Poolside at the Fontainebleau Hotel. You'll remember, right? late-night drinks, champagne, and a certain producer from the show. The room went silent. Even the camera operators froze. Scrappy's voice was low and dangerous. "You hooked up with a producer." Kendra's lips parted, but before she could respond, Jock pulled out his phone. "Don't even try to lie. I've got the pictures." He swiped, revealing a series of grainy images. Kendra in a glittering dress, sitting at a poolside cabana, leaning in close to a man with his arm around her. One shot showed them disappearing into a hotel elevator together at nearly 3 a.m. Kendra's voice finally cracked. "It wasn't what it looked like. That's becoming your favorite line," Jock interrupted. Loud enough for everyone to hear. Before Scrappy could press further, Kendra's phone buzzed again. She glanced down and her breath caught. This time the message came with an attachment. A video file. Her stomach dropped as she hit play. The shaky footage showed her and Scrappy in what was unmistakably her apartment, laughing, holding drinks. Clearly, more than just friends. It was dated 3 weeks ago. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me," Scrappy muttered. Realizing someone else had been recording them without their knowledge, Kendra looked up, her voice barely a whisper. "They have everything." "Who's they?" Jock demanded. Kendra swallowed hard. The message said, I think it's someone from the crew that set off a new wave of chaos." Crew members started exchanging nervous glances. Producers huddled in the corner, whispering furiously into their headsets. The possibility that an insider was leaking footage to the blogs was the kind of scandal that could take down the whole show. Scrappy grabbed her arm, not roughly, but firmly. "If someone's blackmailing you, you'd better start talking now." 4. She could answer. Jock's phone buzzed again. He checked it, and his eyes went wide. "Oh my God." He turned the screen to show them it was a brand new post from LHHATL. Exclusive. "You think the affair is the only secret? Wait until you hear what Jock's been hiding." #LHHATL #plot twist. The caption was paired with a teaser clip. Jock, in a dark room, clearly offset, speaking to someone off camera. "If this gets out, I'm done." It's a video cut there. Scrappy barked a laugh. "Looks like you've got your own mess to worry about." Jock's smirk faded for the first time. All night. "That's out of context." Kendra cut him off, her voice steady now. "So maybe we isn't after me. Maybe they're after all of us." The three of them stared at each other, realizing they weren't just dealing with a love triangle scandal anymore. Someone was playing a much bigger game, and they were all pawns. Outside, the chanting crowd grew louder. The sound of phone cameras clicking like gunfire, and somewhere, whoever we was, had just decided the next piece to leak. The room's tension was thick enough to choke on. Jork paced in tight circles, jaw clenched, while Scrappy leaned back against the bar. His arms folded like he was trying to keep himself from swinging. Kendra sat rigid, eyes locked on her phone screen, as if another message might pop up at any second. "This ain't no random gossip blog," Jock finally said, breaking the silence. "Whoever we is, they're getting inside footage. That means someone we work with is feeding them." Scrappy's voice was low and cold. "So which one of y'all been smiling in my face while stabbing me in the back?" Kendra looked up sharply. "Don't you dare put this on me." "Oh, I'm putting it on everybody," Scrappy shot back. "Because if they've got videos from inside my crib, that means somebody had access. And I don't let just anyone through that door." Before anyone could respond, the set doors burst open and one of the assistant producers stumbled in, out of breath. "You guys need to see this. Now." They hurried toward the production office, where a laptop sat open on the desk. On the screen was a live stream LHH Insider T again. This time, the camera angle was unmistakably from inside one of their green rooms. The stream showed Kendra on a phone call, pacing nervously. The audio was slightly distorted, but the words were clear. "Enough. Don't send that clip yet. I need more time. Jock's already suspicious." Kendra's face drained of color. "That's edited," she stammered. "It's not what I said, but the damage was done." Jock turned on her, fury flashing in his eyes. "So you've been talking to them? Feeding them?" "I wasn't, save it," Jock snapped. "This is some stunt to make me look crazy. You picked the wrong day." Scrappy slammed his hand on the desk, startling everyone. "Hold up. That clip doesn't prove she's working with them. Could be spliced from anything." "Oh, so now you're defending her?" Jock sneered. "That says a lot." Before the argument could explode again, the live stream cut abruptly. A new post popped up on the blog's page. This time, a still image. It was a selfie. It's taken in the exact production office they were standing in. The caption read, "We see you. We're closer than you think." Next drop, the hotel tape. Cake. Talk. Everyone froze. Hotel tape? Scrappy repeated slowly. Jock's face went pale. "I know what they're talking about." Kendra turned to him sharply. "What do you mean?" But Jock wasn't looking at her. He was staring at Scrappy. That night after the reunion taping, "You weren't alone, were you?" Scrappy's nostrils flared. "Careful, bro." "No," Jock said, stepping closer. "Tell her, or I will." The assistant producer's walkie-talkie crackled again, the voice urgent. "They just dropped a teaser. Sending it to your phone now." Everyone crowded around as the clip downloaded. The thumbnail alone was enough to make stomachs drop. A dimly lit hotel room. 2 figures on the bed, one of them unmistakably Scrappy, the other hidden in shadow. Kendra's voice was a whisper. "Who is that?" Scrappy didn't answer. Jock smirked, but it wasn't a happy smirk. "Looks like we just picked their next victim." The clip cut before revealing the second person's face, leaving everyone in the room both terrified and desperate to know. And outside the production office, someone, maybe more than one person, was watching their every move. The production office was silent except for the faint hum of the laptop fan. On the screen sat the thumbnail of the hotel video, grainy, low-lit, and dripping with the kind of mystery that made hearts race and stomachs sink. Everyone's eyes were locked on it. The still image alone was enough to spark hundreds of questions. "Play it," Jock demanded, his voice slicing through the tension like a blade. Scrappy moved forward, resting one hand on the desk. "We're not doing this here," he said firmly. "Not in front of everybody." Kendra crossed her arms, her voice icy. "If there's nothing to hide, why not? Unless—" She trailed off, letting the suspicion hang heavy in the air. Scrappy's eyes darted from her to Jock, then to the assistant producer hovering nervously near the laptop. "This is just bait," he said, but his tone lacked conviction. "Bait. Edited to make me look bad." "Then prove it," Jock shot back. "Hit play." For a long moment, Scrappy didn't move. The hesitation, that half-second too long, was its own answer. Finally, with a muttered curse, he snatched the mouse from the assistant producer and clicked. The screen filled with shaky, low-resolution footage. The first thing visible was a dimly lit hotel room, unmade bed, clothes scattered across the floor, 2 champagne flutes on the nightstand, catching the glow of a small lamp. The muffled thump of music could be heard faintly in the background, as if coming from a nearby club. The camera zoomed slightly, focusing on the bed. There was Scrappy, shirtless, sitting on the edge with his back to the lens. His familiar tattoos were unmistakable. A second figure sat beside him, head tilted down, face partially obscured by long hair and the shadow of the lamp. The two were laughing softly, leaning toward each other. The figure shifted, turning just enough for the light to graze her face. The reaction in the room was immediate. Gasps, murmurs. One crew member muttering, "Oh, no way." It wasn't Kendra, it wasn't a random groupie or anonymous fling. It was Bambi? Kendra's jaw went slack. Jock's eyebrows shot up. The assistant producer's eyes went wide as he glanced between them, like he'd just witnessed a car crash in slow motion. "That's your ex-wife," Jock said, his voice low but dripping with satisfaction. Scrappy's expression hardened. "This is old," he said quickly. From before what?" Kendra cut in sharply. "Before you decided to start creeping with me instead." The tension spiked. For a moment, it wasn't just about the affair anymore. It was about layers of betrayal piling on top of each other. Choke for once. Didn't even interrupt. He was too busy letting the moment marinate. The video rolled on. Bambi leaned into Scrappy, resting her head on his shoulder. Her voice caught clearly in the mic of whoever had been filming. Ain't nobody ever gonna find out. The irony hit like a THUNDERCLAP. The clip ended abruptly, cutting to black. And then, before they could even process what they'd seen, the same video appeared online, posted to LHHNCIDER with a ruthless caption, 241 special. Well, Scrappy doesn't just play with friends, girls. He revisits the past. Hashtag Bambi back, hashtag LHHATL hotel tape. The internet erupted. Comments flew in faster than the page could refresh. Not Bambi, this just turned into a whole different show. Scrappy juggling Kendra and Bambi. The audacity. You can't write this level of messy. Oh wait, it's LHHATL. Yes, you can. Bambi herself jumped into the chaos within an hour, posting an Instagram story of herself sipping wine with the caption, "Old news, stay thirsty." Her dismissive tone only added fuel to the fire. Fans began dissecting the date stamp on the footage, comparing it to old social media posts and sightings. Some insisted it was recent. Others claimed it lined up with a night Scrappy had been missing from a cast event. Back in the production office, Kendra's anger was boiling over. "So while you were texting me about how you couldn't stop thinking about me," she said, her voice shaking with rage, "you were with her. The woman you swore you were done with." Scrappy's tone was defensive. "That was before you. And me don't even," Kendra snapped. "You keep trying to rewrite history like you're the victim here." Jock finally stepped in, smirking. "And this is why I never bought either of your stories. You're both playing games. And now you're both losing." Scrappy spun toward him. "Oh, don't get smug, bro. You think you're safe? You think they ain't got something on you? Ask yourself why we haven't dropped your tape yet." That wiped the smirk clean off Jock's face. "What tape?" Scrappy leaned in, his voice dropping to a near whisper but loud enough for everyone to hear. "The one from that after party in Houston. Ring any bells?" Jock's expression flickered just for a second, but it was enough to make Kendra's eyes widen. "What's in Houston?" she asked, her tone suddenly curious and suspicious all at once. Before Jock could answer, every phone in the room buzzed simultaneously. It was the same notification, the same dreaded account. The post was simple. "Incoming Jocks, turn midnight." Underneath, a countdown timer ticked down the hours and minutes. The reactions were instant. The crew exchanged looks that were equal parts fear and excitement. Social media exploded again. With fans speculating about what could possibly be on Jock's tape, Twitter was a mess. "Oh, they got Jock too. This is a hit job on the whole cast. Midnight drop. Staying up for this tea. Whoever we is, they're the real producers now." Jock tried to laugh it off, but his voice was tighter than before. "This is all smoke. There. Just trying to stir the pot." Kendra tilted her head, a slow smile forming. "You look nervous." Jock shot her a glare. "Don't get too comfortable. You and Scrappy aren't off the hook just because they're coming for me next." Outside the office, the muffled roar of the crowd could still be heard. Fans were chanting names, live streaming, even waving homemade signs. Word had already spread that another drop was coming. And the anticipation was electric. The assistant producer checked his phone again. Midnight's in less than 3 hours. Scrappy crossed his arms. "Guess we'll all find out together." Somewhere in the building, a door creaked. Footsteps echoed down the hall, slow, deliberate. Everyone turned toward the sound. But when they peeked out into the corridor, it was empty. On the desk, Jock's phone buzzed one more time. A final text from the same unknown number that had been haunting them all night. When the clock hits 0, the real game begins. Jock's hand tightened around his phone. "Midnight," he muttered. "Let's see what they really got." As the timer ticked down, One thing was certain, no matter what the tape showed, nothing in their lives would ever be the same again. The countdown timer ticked away like a bomb waiting to detonate. 11:58 p.m., the production office had emptied of most crew, but Scrappy, Kendra, and Jock remained, each pretending they weren't watching the clock even, as their eyes flicked to their phones every few seconds. Outside, the street was still alive. Fans and bloggers camped out with tripods, ring lights, and portable speakers. Every single one of them was waiting for the drop. 11:59 p.m., the tension was suffocating. Scrappy leaned against the wall, arms folded. Kendra sat stiffly in a chair, her phone clutched like a weapon. Jock paced in tight circles, his jaw working. Then it happened. 12 a.m., all three phones buzzed at once. The same push notification lit up their screens. Midnight drop, Jock's tape. Viewer discretion advised. #LHHATL, #final warning. Kendra's single quotes as hands trembled as she tapped the link. The video loaded instantly, and the first frame alone made Jock's stomach turn. It was him, no question. He was sitting in a plush VIP booth at an upscale club, champagne bottle in hand, surrounded by three women. The lighting was dark. The bass from the music rattled the camera's mic. But his face was unmistakable. The first 30 seconds were harmless. Him laughing, pouring drinks, flashing his signature grin. But then the angle shifted, as if whoever was filming moved closer, weaving through the crowd until the camera was practically inside the booth. That's when the audio kicked in. Jock's voice, slurred but clear. "Man, I could ruin all of them if I wanted. Scrappy? Please, Kendra, she'd been mine, and Bambi, she still calls me." Kendra's head snapped toward him. "You what?" That's not Jock started, but the video wasn't done. The next clip showed Jock leaning into one of the women, his hand resting on her thigh. His voice dropped to a conspiratorial whisper, but the mic picked it up perfectly. The show ain't even real anymore. Half these storylines, I feed them to the blogs myself. You want ratings? You gotta spill blood. Scrappy's eyes narrowed. You been leaking stories? Jock's face tightened. That's out of context. I was, but before he could finish, the video cut again. This time it was security camera footage, Jock in the same club, slipping out the back door with one of the women from the booth. They disappeared into a waiting black SUV. The clip ended with a title card. "We told you, no one's safe." Aware? Just getting started. The internet reacted instantly. Within minutes, the #JOC exposed shot to the top of trending. Twitter was a battlefield. Jock talking about he could ruin them all. Guess the blogs beat him to it. So he's the leak. This cast is eating itself alive, and I'm here for every bite. Kendra's voice was ice. So you've been sitting here acting like the victim when you've been the one feeding the fire. Not Jock. Try it again. But Scrappy cut him off. No, that is. You're the reason half of this blew up. You've been leaking everybody's dirt so you can look clean. Jock turned to him, glaring. Do you think I leaked that Bambi video? That Kendra clip? Nah, bro. I had dirt? Sure. But I ain't dumb enough to burn the whole house down with me in it. Kendra slammed her phone on the desk. Then who the hell? Is we? Before either man could answer, the assistant producer from earlier stepped into the doorway. But this time, he wasn't out of breath or flustered. He was calm, almost smug. You're looking at them, he said, tapping his own chest. The room froze. What? Scrappy barked. The assistant producer stepped in fully, closing the door behind him. You think the network cares about your little affairs? Ratings are slipping. We needed something real, something raw. So I gave it to them. Jock's voice was low, dangerous. You've been leaking all of this? He smiled. Not just me. Half the crew's in on it. We've been planting cameras, pulling security footage, recording your hot mic moments. We feed it to LHHN Cider Tea, the account. Yeah, that's ours. Kendra's eyes widened. Why? Because the show needed saving, he said simply. And nothing saves reality TV like real scandal. You think people care about your scripted fights? They want blood. So we gave them blood. Scrappy stepped forward, fists clenched. You've been playing with people's lives. The producer didn't flinch. And now the show's got more eyes on it than it has in 5 years. You're welcome. Jock shook his head slowly. You don't even know what you've started. This ain't just a storyline anymore. You put targets on our backs. The producer smirked. Good. Season 14's gonna be the highest rated yet. Before anyone could say more, another buzz hit their phones. A brand new post from LHHN Cider Tea. Next drop, the reunion files, every lie, every confession, every betrayal. Coming soon underneath a single image. The three of them, Scrappy, Kendra, and Jock, sitting exactly as they were right now. In the production office, staring down at their phones. Kendra's voice was barely a whisper. They're still watching us. Scrappy scanned the ceiling, the walls, looking for cameras. We need to get out of here. Jock's phone buzzed again, a private text from an unknown number. This one wasn't from we. Do you want them to burn instead of you? Call me. I've got a bigger bomb. Jock stared at it, his mind racing. Whoever this was, they weren't. Part of we, this was someone else entirely. Kendra caught the look on his face. What is it? Jock slid his phone into his pocket. Nothing yet. Outside, the chants from the street grew louder, the mob hungry for the next drop. Inside, the three of them stood in a tense triangle, all knowing the war was far from over. Because if we could tear the show apart, then someone else out there could burn it to the ground. And there you have it, an affair scandal that spiraled into a full-blown reality TV war. A secret crew conspiracy known only as we. Hotel tapes, midnight drops, and now, mysterious new player in the shadows promising an even bigger bomb. But the biggest question hanging over all of Atlanta right now isn't just about who hooked up with who. It's about control. Who's really pulling the strings? And when the next drop hits, will any of them have careers or relationships left to save? We're talking scorched earth territory. And the previews for what's coming next are saying this is just the warm-up. So, what do you think? Is we going to expose everyone? Or is Jock's secret contact about to flip the entire game in a way nobody saw coming? Drop your thoughts below. Every theory, every guess, every bit of tea you've got. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because when the next piece of this insane puzzle drops, you're going to want to be right here with us. This war isn't over. It's only getting started.